Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we have this Fox Body Mustang that we are going to be taking the engine and the gearbox out of. So let's get into today's video. If you guys remembered, I told you I was getting 4 Mustangs, and this is the second one. We already got the first one, the one that was mashed, and we took the 2-valve motor out of that. This is a Fox Body. I'm unaware of what year it is, but I'd go ahead and say somewhere between 87, 88, 89, somewhere around there, just because of how the body looks and the engine that's in it. We're going to be taking the engine, the gearbox, the drive shaft, and I want to actually separate this body kit off of the car, take the headlights, the tail lights. I want to keep as many spare parts off of this thing as possible. So we really need to get to work with stripping this thing down. I am unaware of the condition of the engine, but it's just a good one for me to keep, and just in case we need any parts on another build, because we already have 2 cars that have 5.0s in them, and those T5 boxes are pretty hard to come by now. So I'm definitely going to keep that, going to keep the drive shaft, and I'm going to keep these wheels as well. Even though one of the hubcaps is missing, I should be able to find me another hubcap. But before we get to stripping this thing down, let me give you guys a good look of what we have going on with the car. For the most part, this body kit is pretty much intact. I think this is fiberglass or some type of spongy material, so this should be able to just be fixed back here. So I am going to keep the bumper, going to keep the lights. We have just a regular old Fox Body 5.0 inside this thing. We're going to be taking this out now and keeping as many of the parts as possible off of this, is you just really never know when you're going to need something. Not a good idea to throw away stuff that you need. The body is pretty much clapped though. There's a lot of rust absolutely everywhere on this thing. The driver door doesn't work. I'm pretty sure you could get it working, but this is just one of those things that you don't want to go down the rabbit hole of trying to repair all of this rust or trying to bring it back to factory spec. I'm just going to keep all of the parts off of it and hopefully keep them as a spare. When it comes to the wheels though, I absolutely love the wheels. I think those are just factory Mustang wheels, and if you guys know from any of my other builds, I love to leave the factory wheel on it because the tires are just affordable for it. But if you look back again, there's still more rust on this thing. I'm pretty sure if I pull this off, you could just see through that whole panel. The driver side or the passenger side does work, and there's a lot of damage on the inside, like rust wise. The roof is pretty much falling apart and dropped on the interior. Nice Hearst shifter they got here. I don't know if you guys can see that. So some pretty good parts on this thing. I just got to get the engine and the gearbox out and try to get as many of these skirts and body panels off without damaging them, and we should be good to go. All right, so we got the forklift hooked up to the motor now. I really thought it would have been much easier to be able to pull these skirts and bumper, but it looked like the person that did the body kit ended up like adhering the entire kit to the car. So I would literally have to cut all of this and then like pull the back of the fender off of it just to get the skirts off, and that'll end up essentially damaging the entire panel that came off. So all of this stuff is actually adhered, like glued on to the car and it's screwed on. So I don't know if that's the proper way to do it, but even if it is, I'm not gonna go through all the work of trying to rip all the glue off just to get the kit off. These kits are a few $100 online, and if it was easy enough to come off, then I would take it off, but it's not, so she's staying on. Everything underneath is loose. We have the motor mounts loose, trans mount loose, and I cut the exhaust underneath. So the exhaust is cut. I know you can't see that, but it's cut right there. Like I was saying, the exhaust is cut underneath. I already have the 2 front wheels off. I just gotta take the 2 rear wheels off. Drive shaft is loose, trans is loose, exhaust is loose, engine is loose. It's time to pull this thing out and put it on a pallet, and I'm gonna dump the rest of this. I was thinking of all the parts I could keep off of it, but after researching how easy it is to order parts for this, I thought it was gonna be challenging to do so. But it's fairly easy to order parts for these Mustangs. So like all the quarter panel glasses, the doors, these doors are rusty. The windshield, I was gonna try to save all of those stuff, try to get as many parts off it as possible. But the aftermarket support for these cars are very, very good. And the prices are very good as well. So there's no need to try and strip everything off this thing. So we're gonna get the wheels off, get the engine and transmission out, and then we should be dumping this bad boy and we'll be done with the car. Alright guys, there you have it. The Fox body has just left. Let's count all the stuff that we actually got off that car. We got 4 factory rims. We got a 5.0 that is questionable at best. Same thing with the T5, but hopefully we can actually fix these things. I have a room full of parts for 5.0s. Why the hell didn't I catch my breath before I start doing this? Okay, so we got a room full of parts for these 5.0s. No matter what's wrong with it, whether it's the block, the heads, whatever, we can fix this thing. And it's most likely going to be carbureted. I don't want anything to do with EFI. I want to be able to swap this thing into any body possible. And the only way to really do that is either to buy a really good EFI kit, like a Holly, or get yourself a carburetor, call it a day. Alright guys, I know these videos have not been very eventful. They've just been full of a lot of time lapses, but we're definitely going to get back to stripping these down, checking them, compression testing them, checking to see why the car was sitting up all that time, because there's most likely something wrong here that we can't see until we dig into it. But this kind of stuff really excites me. I like diagnostic work and figuring out why something doesn't work and figuring out what needs to be done to get it fixed. So I'm actually going to enjoy this one. The same thing for the 4.6. We actually got to take off the valve covers, take off the timing cover, and inspect the timing, inspect the valves, inspect pretty much everything, and reseal it if it's good. And then we're going to figure out what we're going to do from there. Same thing for this motor. We're going to make sure everything is good on it, and then we're going to try to either start it up or figure out what's the next best home for this thing. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Always remember, don't drift without your dreams. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.